How does it feel living in a world where every man is able to meet his needs, where every family is financially sufficient and able to contribute to the welfare of the society? Such world is possible. My name is Adenike Bamigbade. I stand for no poverty.
I stand for zero hunger, a world where no one goes hungry, and a world where no one has to ask if there's food. I believe in a world where no child has to die of diseases we can cure, where proper health care is a lifelong right for everyone.
Over 260 million children are out of school worldwide. Let's ensure quality education and give lifelong learning, inclusive education for all.
I believe both males and females are created equal, should be treated equally, and should have equal opportunities to express themselves in this society. When this is done, then we'll have a better world to live.
I believe in a world where toilets will be made available to all in schools, homes, and workplaces.
Today, the conventional energy sources we have are expensive and they are hazardous to the environment. And I stand for clean and affordable sources of energy.
I believe that every young person
Good morning.
right to
Generation. I am blessing.
Good morning, everyone. If you can hear me, please drop your name and where you're joining us from in the chat box. You are welcome to the Youth SDGs Cafe by the NGYouthSDGs for May edition. You're welcome. You're welcome. We are so happy and excited, like super excited to have you here. So if you can hear me, I will sincerely appreciate that you drop your name, where you're joining us from in the chat box. Your name and where you're joining us from, and possibly what you do. What do you do? Are you an SDG advocate? Are you a civic educator? Are you a public speaker, a teacher? Just let's meet you. I can see Precious, right? Good morning, Precious. It's Rini from Lagos, so we are in the same location. You're welcome. I can see Felix Yunusa from Abuja. Wow, how's the weather in Abuja today? I hope it's not hot. You're welcome. You're welcome. So happy, and we are so thrilled to have you here today. I still need more people to comment where they're joining in from, their name, and what they do. I still need more people. Why is everyone not drop? Can't you hear me? Can everyone hear me? Hello, if you can hear me, drop your name and where you're joining us from in the chat box. Okay, I can see Ibrahim Babangana. You're welcome from Meduguri. Wow, far away from Borno State. You're welcome. I can still Lastistic Godwin from Jos. Wow. He said Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria, Africa. I love the details. Thank you. So good to have you join us, Godwin. We are happy to have you join us. I can see Fumi joining from Lagos. She's an undergraduate and an SDG advocate. Wow, that's awesome. It's beautiful to see how diverse our audience is today. And the interesting part of it is that, yeah, wow, I can see Emmanuel Adamoleko from Akure, Odo State. SDGs 3, 4, 5, and 6 advocates. Yeah, we align on SDG 4. I'm also an SDG 4 advocate. I love quality education, and which is why we are here this morning as well. One of the reasons why we are here this morning. Goodness Dixon, you're welcome. So good to have everyone join us this morning. And so, without wasting so much of our time, we're just going to get right into it for our cafe learning session today. And we have with us already our Excellency Lady Diana, who is going to be taking us through the topic we have to explore this morning. And I will just go ahead and read a bio so that we can get to learn and know who she is, right? Like her expert is here today. She's ready to give us all the details that we need to know on working with youth for SDGs action. So permit me to welcome Lady Diana. Lady Diana Ereitomi Eno Ete is also known as The Voice. She's a seasoned project manager, a political strategist, and mental health advocate with over 10 years of experience. Currently, she is serving as a special assistant to the governor of Delta State on sustainable development goals, and she leverages her expertise in youth engagement and political strategy to drive coordinated action towards achieving the SDGs. Her distinguished career includes roles as Chief Administrator to Her Royal Highness Olori Atua Shetri, Warri Kingdom, past Senate President, National Association of Delta Students, past President Rotary Club of Abuja Federal. Finally, Lady Diana is deeply committed to empowering young people, fostering active youth participation in government, and ensuring that the voices of youth are heard in the pursuit of sustainable development. If you are like me and you're so excited, please join me in welcoming Lady Diana. If you're so excited, let me see in the chat box, like your claps. I want to see your claps. I want to see the emoji. Oh, I can see goodness. Thank you, thank you. I want to see emojis joining me in welcoming Lady Diana. Lady Diana, over to you, ma'am.
Right. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you. Thank you so much for joining us today. We do not take your presence for granted.
I can finally
We are
break
so honored to have you. Thank you.
The internet and the gadgets decides to prove to you that they charge meetings once again. But thank you so much to the team, in particular to the lead, Mr. Joshua, for having me, and to your excellent team for all the perfect and work and excellence that you've put to making this possible. Just give me a minute. Right. I'm just going to go ahead. Right. I'm so sorry. My own computer, so it was, and then we can go ahead and use this. I'm the one call. So today I have the privilege, and good morning everyone from across the country. I am and I'm humbled by the opportunity to be speaking to Nigerians moment. I would like to first of all acknowledge Prince, who is the executive Honorable Elder Sheriff Oborori, who has obviously proven to be a governor that is and has decided to appoint a younger person, a youth, as his special assistant for sustainable development goal. Opportunity that speaks to the subject that I'll be speaking about today. Just to confirm again, can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, ma. We can hear you.
Oh, okay, because I saw a message popped up about network. Yes, there was that echo at the background. Sorry about that. I believe it's much better right now. So I'm going to go ahead. Today I'll be speaking to us about empowering youth for sustainability. And I want to talk to us about a girl called Alera. So please go ahead. Now, before I get into the story of Alera, I'd like you to understand that the Alera story came from an ongoing campaign and project that we have in my office. Under my office, we started a campaign called SDG Community Worker. And basically, it is an awareness creation campaign, and it's also an opportunity for us to do research about the needs, the knowledge, and the priority assessment of SDGs across our communities, particularly in rural areas and hard-to-reach areas, because we've discovered that even in the urban cities in that state, a lot of people still do not know about sustainable development goal. So we started to imagine what is our area. So we basically commenced our journey. Is this 14-year-old girl, south part of Nigeria, and Alera's life is full of challenges. So from being a dropout school, having an unplanned pregnancy, and lack of access to senior secondary schools, or any form of secondary school at all, in her years old, and she's a petty trader. Her father is not that much older and is a fisherman. Alera struggles to meet her ends, and Alera has a grandmother that is about 55, who is an untrained vet attendant, and she kind of contributes and manages and supports the family in a little way. Now, what I want you to take out of this is that there is a pandemic, especially in the South, for teenage pregnancies and teenage motherhood in the South, where a lot of our teenage girls are becoming mothers before the age of 16 or 17. We cannot scream that loud enough, because we've been faced with the narrative that, and this is not a competition about negative narrative. This is putting out the facts so as to get the right support. But the narrative, because of early marriages in the North, that there's a perception where it's only the teenage girls in the North that suffer early marriages or become early teenage mothers, is not necessarily true. Yes, we do not have a culture in the South where our girls are forced to get married, but we have a poverty, both mentally and financial, situation in the South where our girls are exposed early to in the South. Next slide, please. So I wanted to highlight that in the story of Alera. This is daily hardship. If I can have the next slide. There is no source of power in our community. The air and water is polluted. There are several drinking water. Alera often feeds herself once a day and struggles with inadequate breast milk due to poverty and hunger. Despite the challenges, Alera dreams of a better future for herself and her baby. And development is a dream Alera cannot afford to have. How would you help her? And now I ask this question because this is Alera, and this is the reality that we have found in our riverine areas. This is the reality that we have found in our communities. This is the reality in the entire Nigeria, where young people are not given the platform to make the right choices and to live the right lives, where having electricity in your house has become a luxury and not a basic need, where young girls like Alera who live in the riverine area, if they are lucky to have a primary school in their community, that primary school has poor or low infrastructure. That primary school has either inadequate or poorly trained teachers, and yet Alera has to survive with that. Alera now finds herself as a pregnant mother in a community that has no primary health care service. It's on the riverine area and probably a 20-30 minute drive from the nearest, by boat, to the nearest community that has a primary health care service. Now I want to speak about the magic. I think this person controlling the slide has probably gone 2 slides ahead. I want to speak about the magic of what happens to Alera and what we can do. Now, one day, as Alera, she saw a troop in a boat, all colorful with smiles of hope. They carried 17 pots, 190 buckets, and 203 spoons. She immediately knew that hope had come, and the color of the goals had arrived in the most unexpected places. And someone was finally interpreting her dream. It was not a bad dream after all. Water can be clean. Energy is possible. Quality education is her right, and her story is not over. Long after the troop is gone, Alero is inspired by the Sustainable Development Goals. Alero decided to take action. She gathered her friends and started a local youth group focused on addressing community issues. The action of the colorful troop led the community to action. The best gift Alero got was she became aware. She became aware of what the goals are. She was given the goals and she kept them. As a youth, your first assignment is to understand that the SDGs have 17 goals, which were the 17 pots that were brought to Alero. The SDG has 169 targets, which were the 169 blankets that was brought to Alero. The SDG goals has 203 indicators, which were the 203 spoons that were given to Alero. Then focus, having been aware of these numbers, and your major concern is not there are 17, there are 169, there are 200 and something. Your major concern is to be aware, to know these numbers. And you can streamline yourself to saying at the beginning of the call that really caught my attention was as people introduced themselves, they said the goal that they were interested in. And she said, SDG 4 an SDG 4 advocate. That is truly what it means. One person cannot do all 17 goals. If you do it, except you stick to the part of general, or you come and stick to the part of partnership, one person truly and truly cannot effectively and efficiently, campaign about all the goals at the same time. But as a youth, be aware of what the 17 goals is. Understand what it means, what the targets to those goals means. And most importantly, when you pick the goal that, is an area of interest and passion for you, understand the indicators that is required. What is the globe looking out for in terms of saying that SDG Goal 4 has been attained in a particular area or has gotten enough tractions? And that's what the indicators helps you to do. As opposed to doing, things that cannot be measured, the indicator helps you to measure your efforts and the success that you're getting through as an advocate for SDGs across the globe. Then focus on educating those around you. Why do we say that? Like I said earlier, one person cannot do it alone. And the true strength of SDG is that it is driven by you who is the advocate, whether you're a government person, whether you're an individual, whether you belong to a civil society organization. The first thing is that you've educated yourself. You need to educate the people around you. Over other people who has this knowledge, then that knowledge is wasted because there will still be clear pollution, there will still be clear proper waste management on your street. And I'm not even talking about the entire country. That's your simple street, even in your one compound with about 5 or family or the only household that is, that understands waste management and is doing it. Your neighbors are going to be polluting the environment and you will still be a victim of their pollution. And that's why we've said that educate those around you in this, in the simplest, in the most polite way. You don't necessarily need to start a non-governmental organization. You don't necessarily need to be a very active, or a face or a focal person for the SDGs, to be an SDG advocate or champion as a young person. You just need to politely correct or inform someone next to you who is doing the wrong thing, who is throwing off that waste from the windows of their car, who is, who puts the tap on and is busy discussing and the water is flowing. Like, don't worry, we have water in our compound, who is contributing to the waste of water across the world. You just need to gently and politely speak to that friend of yours who think it is okay to just be pressed for urine and do not find a public toilet and just stand somewhere on the road and does it publicly. It's just little subtle ways that you can go about it. Creating awareness, as this is crucial to be a goalkeeper. As people who are in charge or who talk about the goals. Globally, we are known as, a goalkeeper, as we all know, is very important in the match. Without a goalkeeper, everybody is a victor in the match, right? It's a goalkeeper that prevents. So what you're doing is that you're standing at the post of the wall of you are polite about it, you're friendly about it, and you're passing the knowledge. Let's go on. So the pictures you will see is the kind of things that Alera started to do with our community, how she started to bring young people together to say, let us clean after ourselves. And you can do this in your church, you can do this in your mosques, where you can say, as part of our youth ceremony or our religious activity, let us clean the streets, leaders for our mosques. Let us, if you are in a state where you practice meditation every last Saturday of the month, it is not a time to be on your bed and Netflix and on, and mobilize the young people in your street before then. Say, let's tell all our parents to sit home today. And if you can volunteer in schools where children are going to those schools because that's what their parents can afford, why don't you volunteer your 1 hour in a week, 2 hours in a month to go to this school and not just teach them about SDGs, provide administrative support, help the school understand what the indicators for quality education is at the moment and how they can do the right things in their school. And from the next slide and picture, you can see Alera doing that. Encourage community farming. You would also see that. Encourage gardening farming. These days, things are so expensive in the market that truly and truly, we need to start to farm our own tomatoes, our own ugu, the small things that you can eat, really. And you could see in the slide of the women farming where Alera now brought women together. You know what? Our kids can't go to school because we are young mothers and we can't afford to send our kids to school. But if we all come together and we start to farm tomatoes, after every harvest, we would have a cooperative and we'll put a certain amount into this cooperative, that it's from this cooperative, as agreed by everyone, that we're bringing out funds to send our children to school. So the point for actions is educate and create awareness. Like I've said, Alera's group began to educate themselves and their communities around them to understand the goals and how it's crucial to to their lives and how it impacts them. Local project, they started to initiate local project, like I have already explained, and I don't want to take time out re-emphasizing things I've said before, but local project bridge between here and there. Bring young people, they want to give back. 5 schools where kids are truly, truly attending but are unable to afford their fees, and pay fees for children and encourage those children and make those children advocates for sustainable development goals. And then collaborate with organizations like our host today are people that you can collaborate with them. You can volunteer your time with them to help them do better work across the world. You can and across the state. You can say to them, I don't want to register an organization, but I want to do the best that I can do for my career. So how do you need me? What can I do for my career that that boost the work that you're doing. Also, let us use our social media to be the best tool for SDGs, even if it is creating your captions, even if it's your own beautiful picture that you're putting out there. Say something as to relate to climate. Say something as relates to gender equality. Say something as relates to life below water. If you're in a beach and you're posting a picture about yourself in the beach, add to that caption about life below water and how it is important. Life below water, it's important, and just there are so many creative ways that we can go about this without feeling pressured, without feeling it's too educating. And that's another thing I want to highlight here. Let us not, as young people, we have a voice, and our voice is unique to us. Let us not make it. And there's a beautiful way that we can, communicate this subject without making it so hard, without making it so uninteresting. The Gen Zs, I don't know what they call them, the Alpha generation, are not going to read a 203 page of or document of indicators. These people want to see it in a dance step. So as creatives, if you are doing your skits, if you are posting about your beautiful face, even as a makeup artist, if you're doing, I see posts of makeup artists who are kind of doing their makeup from the beginning to the end, and they are saying something about a subject that is not even necessarily about makeup. How about doing that and saying something about SDGs? Just saying, do you know that gender equality means blah 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 blah, and just saying something, and people are looking, because you are a makeup artist and you're teaching them how to draw their brow that day, and they're looking at how you're carving it. However, they are learning about gender equality. So I want to encourage us to be very innovative. I know that in the slide we talked about, engaging with radio stations. If you are in the media space, whether you're on online or a radio or a TV broadcaster, please be very effective about how you do it. Now, obviously, the ripple effect of this, and I want to talk about electricity. A lot of us are waiting on government to solve our electricity problem, and yet we are being burnt by the sun every day. We have excess water that we let it run. We have excess air. We have every natural resource to create power. I want to ask young people to start to think. I know that the economy and the basic needs, where even to test and to be practical, you don't have light, you are tired, there's no internet. I know that there's all of those things that prevent our creativity, our innovation sometimes. But I want to encourage us, because people like Alero is a clear example of a young girl that had no capacity, didn't get fully formal education, but it's making a difference in our own way. So through Alero's effort, solar power came into a community like ours, which is not connected to the national grid. She improved learning for children by mobilizing those people who have formal education, who have gone to university, to start to teach their children lessons and create resource materials. And then healthcare organizations and NGOs were attracted to come and do projects or carry out outreaches in her community. In conclusion, Alera's story shows us that when youth are empowered and united, they can lead their communities towards achieving sustainable development goals. The future is in our hands, and with determination and the right support, they can create sustainable and prosperous world for all. That is what we can do. The future is truly in our hands. If we come together, if we cooperate, we can do more than we can imagine. My call to action is for government. This call to action is for government. This call to action is for private individuals, is for private sectors, is for philanthropists. I call you that you should invest more in our youths, encourage organizations like this who is youth led, youth funded, who has youth support and workforce across the country. Invest in them, provide them with the right tools, provide them with the right platform, financially support their initiative, and watch them transform the communities around you. Watch them ensure that we have a safer world. As as we say in my office under our community worker train, the truth is that realizing the goals is the only goal. I want to thank you all for listening to me, and I'm open to answering questions right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you for that insightful presentation, and we really appreciate you coming up to actually talk to us about little ways, like all those little actions that we can all take in our respective places, especially as young people in this age, right, to be able to make change and ensure that we are localizing the solutions for driving sustainable development goals. Thank you so much, Ma. And one thing that I've also always, held on to is, the power of our voice as young people. We making sure that we amplify it, irrespective of where we find ourselves on our social media, when we're engaging with others, let them know that this is it, this work can be done. And thank you so much for that. And right away, I'll just thank you so much. I can also see the comments in the chat box saying that it was insightful and it was an excellent presentation. Yeah, it's quite insightful, like giving us simplified ways in order to take action for sustainable development goals. Thank you so much, Ma. So I don't know, do we have any questions? Do we have any questions? Very insightful and wonderful session. Thank you, Friday. Right? Yes. If you have questions, please raise up your hand, and we'll actually ask you to unmute yourself to speak. I'm looking out for hands. If you would like to speak, and if you also want to put it in the chat box, like send a message to me or the general chat box. Okay, I can see a hand up. Oh, this is Friday. Oh, Friday, let me ask you to unmute. I've asked you to unmute kindly.
Okay, thank you so much, Okoyemi. And I want to say a beautiful one from our anchor for today's program. That's a very wonderful presentation. Please, I want to ask, because I heard during our presentation where she mentioned what we can do as an individual for our community, that it don't necessarily be we should have an organization and the likes. Now, in the situation whereby we have different mentalities of citizens that we have in our society, I think it's on Tuesday, I'm actually coming from an event when we went to a particular school to sensitize the children on menstrual hygiene day. So when we were coming, we saw a particular school that was asking the primary school students to lift an heavy object, and very heavy object. So we have to, we stopped our vehicle, we parked, and our team joined those students, those puppies, because they are national primary school. Immediately, the principals and the teachers saw us coming. They don't know who are coming. No, we are with you, our uniform. So they saw us coming. We just got there. We ignored them, and we just greeted them, and we started helping those children to lift what's it called, very big. Or yeah, we told them that you teachers know that these students, they are always telling us that they will do it. In Yoruba, they say, I want to share. I want to be very, very small kids. Now, we help those students to lift that, what's it called, the falling, how can I put it? This big banner that they used to, this big iron, a condemned one that has been on the ground for years. They want to put in that inside the school. So now, if not that we ignore them, ordinarily they will not allow us to join those boys to help them lift that object. Are you getting my point? So now my question is, in a situation where the society is not even wanting help, you might go to a particular place, maybe the house is dirty, and you say, okay, as a volunteer, let me just let's do environmental in this house and clean. Before you know it, you will just realize the people there will be saying that one fellow that is, they want to go and use the dirt to go and do ritual. You understand? In senior scenarios, except they see that you are in group or you are in uniform or you identify yourself to be somebody like this. And so what can we do in such situation whenever we are saying all these things, but majority of us are like, if we do it, this is the reaction that will come from them. You might even want to help some people by giving them food and they still be like, they are these people, so we have to be careful. Even when you need that they need them, they even know that they need help. You understand? So as a youth, what can we do? You know, he said in our presentation that we can do it in our home. We can just volunteer to do stuff like that. But what can we do since even the people we want to do it for, they are not ready to accept that change? So as a youth, what can we do? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question, Friday. Like, so relatable. Over to you, Lady Diana.
Thank you so much, Friday. It's so good. I like conversations like this where we can be real with ourselves, because that's the only way we can solve the problem. In every society, and when we talk about advocacy and doing it as an individual, you have to be sensitive to the community where you find yourself. If you come to the South, what is acceptable here? Because I've had privilege to, do things all the far north, even in Kebbi. You can't do it in Kebbi. It's sad that a lot of ICE challenges. We've been beaten so hard. Can anyone hear me? Because I think I'm saying. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma, but it's still cracking in between. I was wondering if you could also turn off your video, maybe to increase the bandwidth.
Okay, so is this better now?
Yes, Clara, ma.
All right. Okay. So I was saying that as young people, it's good to be sensitive about our environments, about where people's reactions. We can't take away people's fear. We can't take away people's skepticism. Like that you I should go or something, kidnapper, blah 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 blah. We can't take it away. It's just the sad reality that the community, that the things in the society has put on people is the pressure. We just need to be consistent. We need to be. That's why when I was talking about it, I talked about being polite, about it's not.
Okay. Friday. So Her Excellency the network, right? I'm sure that she's going to join. But if you heard what she said, right, she was trying to express the fact that we can actually take away the fact that people still have their bias, right? People have their perspectives, what they think, and that opinion of what they think that things are supposed to be. But she was now raising the point of when we are consistent in our kindness, when we are consistent in our contribution, and we are consistent over time with what we are trying to do in driving this solution, definitely they will know that, oh, okay, there is a reason why these people are actually doing this, and we really need to listen and hear from them. So understanding the people who you are about working with, right? I think that was one core point that she made mention of. Understanding people you're working with and also ensuring consistency. Oh, she's back. Can you hear
Right.
us,
So,
ma'am?
yes, I can hear you. Thank you so much for Okwemi for summarizing that. I think you did an excellent work. That's just it. And most importantly, we shouldn't give up. Don't get tired, don't get discouraged, don't feel like, oh, those kind of stuff. Don't say I'm not gonna go. They're gonna think evil about me. They're gonna think I want to use their debts to do. Don't get discouraged. And absolutely continue to go as a group. It's not even safe for you to go as it's not even safe for you to go as an individual. If you want to help someone clean their environment or if you want to advocate, go always, I repeat, always go as a group. If you are going to make an advocacy or to create an awareness, don't go as one person. And please always ensure that even if you're a group of 2 or 3 or 4, ensure someone who is not in your party or that group going out, ensure someone who is not actively with you knows that you are going to X location, because as advocates, you also have to protect yourself. So you are taking as much risk as the person you are going to support. So let us put it out there that never go out as an individual that, oh, I just want to go to this street and go and advocate. Get somebody else to go with you, and then get someone else that is not going with you to know that you are going to a particular location. I hope this has been helpful to your question, Mr. Friday.
Thank you so much for that, Lady Diana. Oh yes, Friday said yes, that the answer is full. I can see another hand up. Abubakar Sadiq. Could you please unmute yourself and ask your question right away?
Okay. Hello. Good day, everyone. Please, am I audible?
Yes, you are loud and clear. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Abubakar Sadiq, and I'm popularly known as SDGs Allergy. I'm a potential and passionate SDGs advocate. Sorry, mine is just to make comments or to actually encourage us youths to actively participate or engage ourselves in advocating for sustainable development, because SDGs is for everyone and SDGs is for anyone. So anyone can participate, and the benefits that comes from advocating for sustainable development is for everyone. So mine is just I don't know why the SDGs here down in the north, like very few people knows about it. But the moment they just heard about it, you see they start thinking on how to take action on it. So the advocacy here down the northern part of the country is very, very low. And I don't know whether we have a chapter of this organization here in chapters of the organization here in the north. Even if there is, I am not sure of my state, Adamawa State. So I'm asking whether we have a chapter so that we'll collaborate and work together with them in ensuring the advocacy goes wider, because I have took a step of not only advocating to for youth, but I've took a step of advocating in secondary schools, universities, because I see there's a need for that. And I'm even trying to set up SDGs club in secondary school, which I have write a letter to the State Ministry of Education and Post-Primary Management Board. So I'm waiting for approval. So if maybe we'll collaborate together with this body, I am sure that I will go wider, or the advocacy will go wider. So thank you so much. That's what I have to say.
All right. Thank you so much for your comments, Abubakar. So your comments, we sincerely appreciate that. Yes, our team actually has representative across 36 states in Nigeria, right, including FCT. And it's amazing to see that you've already started putting to work what Lady Diana had actually, advised, that every one of us can take action. And I sincerely hope that what you've started will actually, go further and further. And in exploring collaborations, I think even beyond SDGs, like in other organizations, I think I'll also hand over to Lady Diana to also, touch more on that. I'm sure that she'll have some advice or insight to give to you regarding that, your work can move further than what you currently are. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Opeyemi. And thank you so much, Abubakar, for putting yourself out there and going over and abroad to do the work that you're already doing. My first question, or it's probably a question and an advice. I believe, I'm not sure, but does your state have a government representative as it relates to the SDGs, like an SC or a directorate or a government appointee that it's supposed to focus on sustainable development goals? If the answer is yes, then that might be, and hopefully an accessible and an interested person in the subject, that might be a way that you want to further strengthen the work that you're doing. You might consider going to volunteer with that person, since it's something you're already doing it passionately anyways. You might consider going to volunteer with that person to do more. The other thing you can do is most definitely join this association. Since they already have representative across the states, you should just, add yourself to the pot of people from Adamawa states, so that, there's a proper structure in which, structures and collective effort give us more. I want to say that also, and this is an advice for almost everyone, is don't drag yourself thin. Decide the niche you want to cut for yourself and the specific groups you want to focus. SDG clubs in schools is very beautiful. Decide whether you want to pick a particular goal, pick a particular target audience, and pick and structure yourself to 1 or 2, 3 things that you're going to do with them, and how long you are going to do it, and the expected outcome. This is very important, because that's the first thing that SDG teaches us, that your result has to have targets and indicators, which means it has to be measurable. You have to, as an advocate, you have to create that measure for yourself and use that as a tool to guide the work you're doing, so that you are not discouraged, you are not worn out, and you're not doing too many things and not achieving quite any result or any clear defined result. That would be my contribution. Thank you.
All right, Ma, thank you so much thank you so much for sharing that. I also have another question in the chat box. Abubakar, I hope your question has been answered and you'll gain insight from what she has said. Another question from the chat box is saying, thank you, Ma. From your experience, how do you think young people can have a seat at the table in decision-making processes related to SDGs implementations? What steps can be taken to increase youth representation in governmental and policy-making bodies? Should I take that again, ma'am?
No, I think I had enough to answer the question.
Okay.
I think, first of all, young people should stop thinking about the table and the seats. I think that's whoever came up with this terminology of a seat in the table or the seats, just go ahead and do what you need to do. See, if you are doing what you need to do, you will be the table, and people will come and be looking for a seat around you. So let's stop. Let's just take that out first. One of the few things that my mentor said to me, this is over 12 years ago, that has stuck with me forever, is he said to me, Diana, if you walk into a space and let's say you were employed in an organization and you're this newbie, maybe an Intel or something, you know how they try to intimidate you, and especially when you're very smart or who is this one?
We can't hear you, ma'am.
The motivation that you brought there, he says to be the commander of the. If the president walks into, or let's use a popular place in Nigeria, Oshodi. If the president decides now that he wants to live in Oshodi, right? Is Oshodi not going to be the Aso Villa of Nigeria? That's what Oshodi is going to be. Everybody is going to stop talking. Aso Rock is going to just not be Aso Rock, right? So let us not worship the table. Let us make ourselves relevant as a table on its own. So let's take over that old table thing. I think that when young people increase their voice in a positive and impactful way. I'm not saying we no agree for no. I'm saying use your voice to say an impactful and a positive thing. People will be attracted to you. If they don't create a table, you will become a table and they'll be writing letters to you. People will be saying, I would like you to speak here. I would like to hear more from you. What's your opinion? The press will be writing you to say, do you have an opinion about, the current hunger in XXS space? Because I see that you have a track record of doing stuff on hunger. Just take away the table from your mind and looking for a seat and be your own table. People will definitely come and get a seat around you. I think that's the first thing. I want to give it to the government. I know that the government, in a time where there's recession and there's hunger and there's a lot of expectation, it is hard to give any kudos to the government. But if we really look at it, one of the best things that have come out of our last election and the 1 year in government is that more and more youths are given an opportunity to showcase what they can do. Now, as I say that, I want to appeal to the youths that have, gotten into this state, tiny seat, maybe not a seat, they've been brought into the room. That is the way that we can also give people who want to get into the room and have a seat on the table. That's the way we can show that young people truly can do it. But I think living a positive life, showing the older people that we're not online to just twerk and slay and be materialistic only, but we are also using our youthfulness to do the positive thing. That would be the table, and that will definitely, if there's a table, give you a seat on that table for sure.
What? Be the table, be a value-added person. Thank you so much for that. And I have 2 more questions here before we round up. And the question is saying that what are some of the biggest challenges you faced when you first started working with the youth on SDG projects, and how did you overcome them?
I'm not sure that I have overcome the challenges. I think the immediate challenge would be that every young person right now, and I don't know, sometimes it's sad to say, but most young people right now are looking for quick wins. And these quick wins are, how do I get a seat on the table? How do I also become an SEO on SDGs like you? How did you get there so I can get there, And they don't want process. A lot of people want products without process. And that's been the biggest challenge. When you call a young person and say, oh, so I'm going to this Rivarian community, I just need more hands. Sometimes it's not necessarily because you can't fill the questionnaire yourself, but there is strength in community. You probably just need 5 more people to be there so that, you feel that we're together, you feel that comradeship. And how much they pay? The government give us money. As our money shown, everything is sadly frustrating. If you are saying, no, this one, there's no money. No, there's no money. Government didn't release any money. I just think that it's the right thing to do. Even globally, we can't keep saying we have this problem. If there's no research, there's no data, they're going, please, I hope you're not just spending your money. I'm supposed to be making money. No, me, I'm not going anywhere. So there is that thing. There is this immediate gratification, and that, young people, that's my first challenge. Young people do not understand and do not want to appreciate. I guess maybe because we are more in the social media age, there's this pressure of photo shoot for every birthday. There's the pressure of changing your phone to the latest iPhone. There's just so much expectations that young people have not been able to define that expectations. Our product comes with process. Like I keep saying, God Almighty has the power to have a woman give birth to her child in 9 days, have pregnancy be 9 days or 9 hours. In fact, the reason why he made it 9 months is to teach us as humans that life requires process. Growth requires process. That's why. And you can't rush growth. You can't make growth. You have to allow the process. So no matter how eager a woman wants to be a mother and wants to hold that child,
she knows that it is dangerous to force that child out at 4 months or 5 months of pregnancy. She has to hit the 9 months for her to see the fullness and appreciate that. So that's been my greatest struggle. I think one of the ways that I have, I believe personally that I have mitigated or faced that challenge is that I've continued. I've continued when people say I can't come. I've continued when people say if you're not paying me, I'm in my house. I'd rather be watching movie. I have continued, and over the years or over the months, even in this position, I've seen people who said, you want to be working as SC, that one is just extra pay. Just sit down in your house and just because that's small money that is not enough to do anything. It's not even enough to live the baby girl life that you used to live. See that extra income. I've seen those people come to say, you know what, we're really proud. We didn't know it was possible to give your voice to this in such a delightful. We didn't even know this subject was this delightful to listen to or to engage in. So I would say that as a young person, if you believe in what you believe in, just continue. Do not define your own expectations and live only by yourself. On the days that you disappoint yourself, which is normal, on the days that you don't feel like you're doing enough, take a minute, rest. If it is a passion, you will wake up the next day and all you still think about is doing that thing that you were so upset that you were doing. That's the way, that's my own way. Just continue doing the right thing. People will catch up with it eventually.
Thank you so much, Ma, for that. Continue doing what you're doing, right? And people will actually catch up with you and define your own expectations. Thank you so much. Being persistent and understanding the power of processes in ensuring success is very relevant as well. Thank you so much for that. So our last question for today says that in your role as the special assistant to the governor of Delta State on sustainable development goals, what are some of the innovative strategies you have seen or implemented effectively that engage youth in SDGs action, and how can we replicate it in other regions?
So the question is about the innovative ways.
Yes, strategies. Yes, innovative strategies and projects that you've seen that is related to SDGs action, and how can we replicate them in other regions? If it was done in Southern region, how can we replicate it in Southwestern, Northern, and other places?
I think the most innovative thing that you can do is, first of all, is to look out for partners, look out for people who are already doing it. I would say it with no shame. It was my team that reached out to to your team, right? We were looking out for people who were already doing it, who were doing it passionately, who were doing it well, who were young people like us that we can collaborate with, because we can't do it by ourselves. The people that you've given me the platform to speak to today would have probably taken me a longer time to try and find them my own self. So look out for people. Other innovative ways that I've seen that are very low hanging is work with children, work with younger children. They are easier. So we're talking about plastic, hold the plastic, tell them the history about making plastic, how this one plastic, they just maybe dig the floor, kind of do like a practical of burying a plastic or a nylon bag, then bring it out and say, oh, this, do you know that even if we took this out in the next 40 years, it will still be like this? The kids will go, oh, wow. And guess what? The beauty about children, which is why I brought them up, is that their parents will hear about it. So if you advocate or you teach 10 children, 10 homes I've heard, compulsory. They will not let that father or mother sleep. I have kids. I know what it, I know this for a fact. I'm giving you facts. When my son or my daughter has thought something in school, I learn it by force. They will come to me. It doesn't matter how tired you are, you will listen to them. They will say it. If it's not something you know, they will leave you and you will see yourself in the night. What is this about? You see yourself actually Googling the thing because you don't want to look stupid before your kids. Or they say, oh, they asked us to do a project. Let us write 5 words and show it in a cardboard, how not to waste something. You will see yourself doing the project with them and learning the subject. There's so many things I've learned now that I didn't know, but just doing my kids' assignment, their projects with them, or some sensitization talk that was given to them in their school, they bring it home and I learn it. So kids, I faster way of saying you want to go. We have so many bills in our head, we can't even hear you. But regardless of the bills in our head, as parents, we hear our children. So children are low-hanging fruit. Also, community work, like Mr. Friday has said, come together and make a change. Keep sweeping that door. No matter, even if they say that you are going to use the thing to get money or to do voodoo or something, by the time you do it consistently for 6 months and no evil has come before them, they will realize. You will come one day on a Saturday when they know you usually come to clean, and you will see them offering you water. You will see that they have prepared something. They were actually expecting you. You will be walking on the streets and you hear one woman talking to another woman randomly about, there's some people that always come and clean our compound, and then you would see that you really make a difference. It won't look like that in the beginning, but don't give up. Low-hanging fruit and very important, and it's right there in the 17 goals. Look for partners and collaborate. It makes it easier and it makes it more interesting.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you. We really appreciate your presence and all of the insights that you've dropped for us. Like, personally, I've learned a lot too, and there are some things that have been re-emphasized to me. And we thank you so much, so much. And just so before we leave today, we would like everyone to turn on their cameras and let's take a group photograph together. And also, while doing that, can we drop in the chat box some of the things that we are leaving here with today, like that core thing that you are holding on to, that, based on what Lady Diana has said, this is one thing that I'm holding on to from this cafe session, and I'm going to be doing differently. Let's also do that, right? One thing you're going to be doing differently after this learning session. What are you leaving this learning session with? I want us to drop that in the chat box, and I also turn on our videos so that we can take a group picture. I hope my colleague is doing that. So let's know when the picture has been taken. I can see fine faces on the call. Thank you so much for joining us. I can see Ibrahim's smile. So beautiful. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Let me know when our picture is done. Oh, I saw a comment. It said partnership. Like the person even put exclamation mark, meaning that the person is shouting it. Partnership, collaboration are very innovative ways to promote the SDGs. Wow, that's great. Someone said expectations and products come with process. You can't force growth. The process is as important as the outcome. Wow, that is great. That is great. To start individual advocacy on all my social media platforms. Also. So that means that we are actually leaving this learning session with something great. And that is the reason why we are having this Youth SDG Cafe, bringing you stakeholders together with young people so that we can, exchange knowledge, share knowledge, and learn from all of the things that they know so that we can also improve the process for our own work. Well, we appreciate you for joining our session today, and we hope that you go on your social media platform and share some of these things so that other people too can learn, because this is a form of advocacy as well. So let them know what Lady Diana has spoken to us about. You can acknowledge her in your post, also tag us to say that, okay, this was where you learned this from, and let's keep the momentum going. Let's help others know more about what we are doing in driving the sustainable development goals. Lady Diana, as a final word, is there anything you would like us to go home with? Your final word with us, like one thing you want all of the youths in this session to go home with as a final word for us today, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to first of all thank Mr. Joshua and Opoyemi and your entire team once again for doing such an excellent and consistent work that is, very aware of process and very aware of your commitment to, the sustainable development goals in Nigeria. I want to say to the youths, let us not pretend things are not easy right now. Let us not deceive ourselves. Everybody's really looking for what their daily bread are supposed to talking about sustainable development goals. But the sustainable development goals is our life. We can do it in the simplest ways. We can tell our neighbors, don't throw that, because your colleague can do something, or you can say something on the side. Do not get discouraged. do not get overwhelmed in the process. Even the Sustainable Development Goal is here to protect you and to protect your mental health. So do not put yourself under any pressure to do it. It's supposed to be done with a lot of love in your heart and a lot of peace and a lot of ease. So do it with ease. Stay positive, stay safe in wherever you find yourself in the country or in the world right now. And let hope be your mantra for this season, because we need hope. We most definitely need hope. Not give up on the government yet. They don't know it all, I promise you. They are also trying to figure it out. And remember that you are on the driving seat. It's government-driven, community-owned, localizing of the goals. And whenever you remember this, remember that now your hand, localizing the goal should be your only goal, and it starts with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, ma. Our founder is on the call. Joshua Lade is on the call, and he already dropped message also in the chat box, appreciating you for your presence. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone, for having us. And I do hope that all of you, and some of you is from Delta State, and all of you think of how to also work with us in Delta State. Our hands are open, and we can't wait. We can't wait to also share. As you do your good work, please copy our social media handle as well. We do spotlights, and it doesn't matter whether you did it in Delta or not. Everyone doing good SDG work across the country is a friend to us, and we'll be happy to share the work that you do as well.
Thank you, ma. Thank you so much, ma. Everybody's already dropping cool comments in the chat box for you. Thank you, ma. Yes, ma. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Everyone, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your presence. Thank you, and we hope to see you in our next edition, and also hope to see your feedback about this session on your social media platform, using it to advocate for the SDGs, and also sharing the lessons you've learned for others too to be able to know about it. Thank you so much.